And we're back. This is the second video for week 8. And just a quick reminder of what the project with this, what we're objectively trying to do, and that is to evaluate the quality of the data, assess the performance of the safety program, make prioritized recommendations, and along with some forecasted losses. And so this first week, we're going to be looking at the quality of the data. Next week, we'll look at the quality data and assess the performance of the safety program. And then the remainder of the time will be trying to figure out where we should make the recommendations. Let's see. So we're going to be doing this in this video. We're going to complete the descriptive statistics. So this is the assistance document, and I created a video for you. So this will be sort of a step-by-step of what we want to do. So as I had said before, do not molest the master. So what we're going to do is I want to copy and paste this to a new tab. So to get a new tab, all we have to do is left-click down below. When you scroll over something, usually a little window or text comes up, it says new sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the whole data, the whole spreadsheet here that we're looking at by going up to the kind of half triangle that is between the A and the 1 and click on it. And you see how everything darkened? So what I've done essentially is highlighted the entire set. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a copy. And to copy it, I go Control C to copy. And when I did that, you see how this weird moving line shows up around everything? So I can left click on that button, I get a new tab. As long as I'm in cell A1, I can hit Control V for paste, and I have an exact replica of my master. So now I can actually start doing things. One thing, sometimes you have to sort the loss, the data by the loss date. That's the date in which an injury occurred. That does just make it so it's chronological. And this chronological goes from 6/7/2019. I'm writing that down because that's important. That's the earliest one. I'm going to scroll to the bottom. And the final one is 8/29/2002. Sorry, 2022, right? So how much data do we have? What I'm going to do is why is that doing that? It's a weird thing right there. Anyway, I'm going to go down here. So the dates. Oh, I don't want to do that. Dates are equal to 6/7/2019 to 8/29/2022. So we essentially, okay, so first things first, I got to blow this up. I always forget that. So you can see. And you see how it's the cell itself is centered. And if you go up to alignment, you can see you can adjust things. So if I left adjust, now I can see everything. And it just goes into the next cell. If I was to type something here, it would disappear. So what do we have? So what I'm going to do is design or use set fiscal year. And that's going to be 6/1. I'll say 2019 to, let's see, what will be the last day? 5, I think it's 31. We'll double check that, 2020. So that's going to be year 1 for me. You can basically set it up however you want. What I always do is I try to capture the first year, a full year. Because if it was calendar, we'd have partial 19, we have partial 2022, then what do we have, just 20 and 21? So I create fiscal year. So year 1 is that. Year 2, actually I'm just going to say fiscal year. There we go. I have to do the left justification. This is an alignment. Everything, yeah. Fiscal year 1. Fiscal year 2 is 6/1/2020 to 5. I'm gonna have to look and see. I'm kind of embarrassed now. I suppose I can look down here and kind of look it up. There we go, and let's go to May. May goes through 31. Hey, check that out. I have to left justify. Fiscal year 3 is 6/1/2021 to 5/31/2022. So we've got 3 full fiscal years. And we will have to investigate, the fiscal year 5. There's going to be a lot of open claims, in the last 2 years. So we'll have to make a consideration once we look at the data to find out how many open claims. If there's too many open claims, it's difficult to use because they're not closed. So we don't know what the totals are. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So I've got 4, well, basically 3 and a partial fiscal years. So 3 years of data, to trend that, it's going to be tough, but we're going to give it our best shot. All right. So that was just looking at the years. One thing I like to do with any data set I'm using is give it individual identifiers. Sometimes these sets come with their own, individual identifiers, but this one does not have it. So what I'm going to do is left click on A, and you see it highlighted the entire column. Then I'm going to right click, and you see the window opens. I'm going to go to insert because I want to insert a column, and see it moved everything to the right. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give it a unique identifier. You can type that in. I'm just going to go NO for number. And if I highlight the whole thing, I can center justify. I can do anything I really want. And I'm going to teach you a trick now. If I go 1, 2, 3, I basically set up a pattern here. What I can do is highlight these 3 and then double click in the bottom right hand corner, and it automatically fills it all at the bottom, and I'll show you. There it goes. Okay, it went 1 past. I don't know why. Oh, we've got totals here. Okay, I'm going to delete that row. To delete, I left clicked on the row, and then I right click the button and I hit delete, and it's gone. Okay. So now I have unique identifiers. The next thing I want to do is I want to get all of my paid amounts next to each other. I'm sorry, I was scrolling to do it and I should have used that. And if you remember from the last video or the first video, they separated them, and I don't know why. I think now OS, I'm not exactly sure. We're gonna have to search that to find out what it is. But I want paid medical, paid indemnity, paid legal expense, which is that LAE, and then total paid. I want, unless there's an equation. No, it's entered. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to highlight the paid, and what I'm doing is I'm holding down the left click. I'm going to try to drag it. Oh, that didn't work. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to do Control X to cut. I'm going to highlight T, and it should be insert cut cells. Yep, I did it. Okay. Did that change it? I hope not. I think there are whole numbers in there. I'm going to do the same thing with paid LAE. So right click to highlight, Control X to cut, go right next to paid indemnity, right click and put insert. And I'm gonna do the same thing with legal. Should be paid legal. Where is that? Oh, I just did it. So I got to move the total paid over now. So I'm gonna right click, cut, click on there, right click, insert cut. There we go. So I'm going to center these. Thought I could. There we go. And I got to center the paid too. So these are going to be the main columns that I'm concerned with. All these other things, I got to find out what they are. This could be, this ink and this OS. I mean, we could Google it. Sometimes, we get weird stuff. So I'm going to say workers' compensation O/S. Let's see what happens. I wonder what O/S means. Well, I'm going to have to find that out and get back to you. I don't want to waste the time on here. As of right now, I don't need to know what these are, but I don't get rid of them. I'm just going to shrink them, and total outstanding. Maybe that's outstanding. Maybe that has something to do with it. Again, the total incurred is an adjustment. So I can, and you see when you what I'm doing is I'm narrowing. If you highlight a column and then you see how the cursor turns into this line with arrows, and I see if I highlight a bunch of them, it'll do them all. If I do just one, then it would just do one. But you see when it's got these hashtags, that means there's a number here and you're not wide enough. And then we've got the descriptions. We'll read the descriptions when we sort by the most expensive claims and start looking into that. All right. So we've got the paids all set up. We got unique identifiers. I want to insert a few more lines here just to make sure I have plenty. You always want to make sure that you have an open line between it and anything else you put, because we're going to be using this sort function later on, and whatever is touching, if there's no gap, it includes it. So I've got one thing I can do. I'm going to show you guys all the tricks right now. Is I'm going to copy, highlight row 1, copy. So Control C, and I'm going to put that down below. So then I know exactly what I'm looking at, but I'm not going to put it right next to it. I'm going to put one below it. There we go. So that's what it is, and those are really big letters. I'm going to turn that into an 8. That's better. So the headers are down below. So I've got some interest in what my totals are right now, and I can then carry that over after I build my table. And I can use it as a comparison too. I can always test my work. So I've got medical, indemnity, paid legal expense, and total paid. So let's get these totals. So here's what I do. I type equal, because when you're using Excel, whenever you type equal, it's going to expect either a function or it's going to expect you to type in an equation. And so I go equal sum, which means add everything up. You see when I type it in right away, it's giving me a choice of different versions of sum, but I just want this regular one. So then what I do is I go parentheses, and now it says put in number, whatever. I could click on numbers, I could click and drag, but what I like to do is I like to type them in. And so I'm in column S, and the first row is row 2. Because the first row, the actual first row is just a header. It's got what the variables are. So if I type in S2 colon S626, you see how it highlights it? And hit return, it added up everything that is there. And what's beautiful is now, so equals sum, SUM, parentheses, typed in S2 colon S626. And you saw how it highlighted it. Now, if I click on this, I've got the equation up here. If I go and click on here, I can do that copy paste that I showed you in the first video. So I'll click it, I'll drag it over. So what I have here is, if I click on this cell, it is sum V2 to V626. So what it did is, as I shifted 1 to the right, it moved the field to the right by 1. I did it again, it did it again. You see, so the way I structure my tables is to take advantage of that, basically copy-paste function. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight these 4 cells, because there's 2 things I want to do. I want to get rid of the pennies, so round to the nearest dollar, and I want to turn it into currency, which is the proper units for these numbers. So I go up here to the number up at the top here. So we've got clipboard, font, alignment, number, style, cells, editing. We're going to be using, I think, all of these. Sorry, everybody. All right, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the decimal point. I can take it away or I can add it. So I'm going to take 2 of them away, and that rounded it. And then up here it has number. I'm going to click down, and I'm going to go to currency. Oh, I got to get rid of the pennies again. All right, I should have done that first. So now I've rounded it to, these are the totals. And I can refer back to this whenever I do my tables. It's a way to check my work, all right? All right, let's make that table, because it looks like we're already at 14 minutes. So I'm going to go back to the help document. This is basically what I want to build. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put it just to the left of the paid medical. Copy. We can copy and paste back and forth. It's kind of cool. So 1 over from the paid medical. I'm going to go paste. So N, how many claims do we have? If I go back over here, we've got 625. That's my unique identifiers. I did that because it makes it easy. So 625. Okay, and then we're going to do subtotal. Here, I'm going to copy this and bring it down too. I'm going to fill this in. See, if I highlight these, I'm clicking and dragging, and then I go up to the font. See, there's a, I can choose borders. I'm going to go all borders. So now I've got a full table here. And if I want to make it look better, what I can do is I can highlight rows, and then I can kind of just make them a little bit bigger. And then I can make sure the alignments are all centered. Isn't that cool? All right. So I've got the equations typed into the assistant. So we're going to do a sum, a subtotal divided by total paid, an average, a median, a number of zeros, the paid only, a max claim, the percent max, and then percent zero claims. Okay? That's what we're going to fill out. It defines the data set pretty well. Lets us know kind of what we're working with here. So subtotal. So column S, so equal, I mean, I've already got the subtotal there, but I'm still going to do it again, equals sum S2 to S626. And you see here, it's highlighted this whole row. So it's going to add up all the numbers from the first numbered row all the way down. Now I can put another parentheses there, or I can just hit return, and it gives it to me. So I'm going to have to alter this to turn into currency. But I'm going to do that at the end. I'm going to work through all the numbers first. Percent total. The total overall is this amount here. So what I'm going to do is go equal to, and I clicked on the cell. So equal to whatever is in this cell, slash means divided by, and what I can do is I can type this in, or I can just hit it. I always want to divide by that total, and so I'm going to type it in. 2451403. And I got to turn that into a percentage. And then I can drag it over because it's doing the same thing. The average per claim is equal average. You saw that thing came up. Give us the numbers. S2 to S626. Hit return. You got to do median equal median. S2, S2, S626. Hit return. The number of $0 entries equal count if. Count if, what it'll do is you give it a range and you tell it what to look for. It'll tell you the number of those things there. So count if S2 to S626. And what I'm going to say is for that range, give me the number of, comma, zeros. So equal count if, range, which is a cell colon cell, so it's a range, comma, criteria, 0. So there are 189 zeros in here. Paid only is something I made up. It's equal to the subtotal divided by the overall number, which we know is, it's right here, 625. 625 minus the number of $0 claims. It should be above the average, yeah, because when you take out the $0 claims, it drives up the amount, right? The max entry for the paid medical is equal to MAX, max, parentheses, S2 to S2, oh, not 262, 626. There we go. And percent max is equal to whatever the max entry is divided by the subtotal. It's a statistic. And the percent of $0 claims is equal to the number of $0 claims divided by the total, which is 625. All right, now I need to assign some stuff here. The subtotal needs to be currency. So I'm going to go up here and go on currency. And I want to get rid of the pennies. Percent subtotal, I have to turn that into a percentage. And I will leave percentages with 2 decimal points. Average and median are both a currency amount. I'm going to highlight both of them and go down to currency and then get rid of the pennies. Notice the difference. The median, which is the 50th percentile, is $293. The average is $2,041. Here's the number of $0 medical claims. Paid only and max are both currency. So I'm going to turn them into currency and get rid of the pennies. So the paid only is above. So basically when we take out the zeros, which brings things down, it now brings up that if the claim had medical paid in it, that's the average. So it's higher. The max entry is $80,000. So now that doesn't have to necessarily be the max total paid, but the highest amount of medical paid for a claim is $80,871. These are both percentages. So I will turn them into percentages and leave it at 2 decimal points. So the max amount here, the max medical paid, is about 6.35% of this total. We'd like the max to be less than 2%. That's just historically speaking. And it looks like about 30% of the claims in this data set do not have any medical paid. So, but that becomes more important when we look at the total paid. So, long story short, we just figured out all these descriptive statistics just for the medical paid. Let's do a trick. I'm going to highlight everything I just did, and you see this little thing bottom right. I'm going to left click on it and drag it over, and there you go. We're done. I love the copy paste function. Okay, so let's do some interpreting here. So the total amount of paid medical is 1.274 million. The indemnity is 934,000. The legal expense, that seems high to me, but that is 255,000, 10%. That seems high to me. Weird. But this is the total, it's 100%. So what's interesting is the medical, okay, yeah, the medical is above paid indemnity. Jim Jones talked about this, I think. No, he did not. It was a side conversation I had with David Lex of the Department of Workforce Development. He was talking about how there was a certain year in which this happened. It was like the early or mid 2000s, I think. We'll hear from Dave later on. So here's the most important column right here. I would say, this breakdown here is very interesting, but here's where we'd really want to focus our attention. So how do we interpret what happened here? Because I want you to put in comments on what you found. Well, so we want to report to, when we write our report, we need to report that this loss run data set was analyzed. Oh, here's the thing. This is important, everybody. Several of you, many of you did this incorrectly with the executive summary assignment and will do it on this assignment too. You will open by saying 3.5 fiscal years. A data analysis focus. How do you guys say this? 3.5 year. A data analysis of 3.5 years focus on a data set. What it sounds like when you read it out loud, I can't say it right now because I don't like saying it that way, is that it took 3.5 years to do this analysis. But what you want to say is you analyzed a data set that contained 3.5 fiscal years. Do you understand the difference? I hope you do. Here's what we know. A data analysis on a workers' compensation claim data set was conducted to determine the quality of the claim data, the performance of the safety program, blah, blah, blah. The loss run report contained 625 claims over the period of, and I have to look back, it was like, so we're going to say, we'll say 6/1/2019 to 9/1, yeah. So 6/1 to 9/1. Where are we? Of June 1, 2019 to September 1, I'll write it out, September 1, 2022. Okay. And again, they're centered, so I have to go left justified so they can read it. A loss run report contained 625 claims over a period, blah, blah, blah. Over the how much time did we cover? We have 3 full fiscal years and 1, 2, 3 months. That's a quarter. So 3.25 fiscal years. Over the three, I'll just say 3.25 fiscal years, and I'm going to go ahead and indicate it is June to May. The company incurred, I'll say the company was responsible for 403. You'll remember this by the end. For responsible for in paid claim benefits. Okay. So, do you see where I'm going with this? I'm interpreting what's going on here. I could talk about the percentages here, the average, the median, the paid average, the max claim, which is 8.68. Why is the max claim always around $200,000? I don't know. I got to look into that. That's weird. But the average, which is high, is $3,900. I want that to sink in based off other things you've read or other things you find. This is not far off from what I see year in and year out. One thing I forgot to do is count the number of open claims. I should have done that. Do we have open close date? So we don't have a column with open closed. I mean, one other thing we could look at is if it has anything in these here, then odds are it is still open. Because, here's the incurreds. So, let's see here. I wonder. There's got to be an easy way to do this. Talk to me, Goose. Yeah, that is also the same as that. Look, we have a $0 paid. I wonder if it's closed. Let's see. I'm just going to go and look at that date of close. Where did that thing go? Last close date. I just don't trust that, though. So would this be the first one? Oh, it's expensive. Well, it looks like this right here, this OS. There's nothing. When it's OS, it looks like that's being held aside. So let's check on this one and see if this one also has no close date. It doesn't. Okay. So as we scroll towards the bottom, there should be more missing dates here because more recent claims may still be open. You see, we're kind of popping around. Okay. We're getting near the bottom, and now there's some bigger gaps, and then, okay. So, yeah, that is right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this easy, so make it so that you guys understand it. So I'm going to insert a column here, open or closed, okay? Equal if this cell here is not equal to 0. Well, if it is equal to 0. If this is, well, actually, if I don't, it's not 0, it's nothing there. So I'm going to put 2 parentheses here. If there's nothing there, then it's open. If it's not, then, do I have to put parentheses or quotation? I'm going to put open. If not, then close. Let's see if that works. You've entered too many things. Of course I have. Logical tests, value if true, value if false. Oh, I see what I did. If M2 is equal to that, then open, otherwise closed. There we go. Go with this, double click. Did it left? That one's open. So what I did is I gave it a logic. And boy, you guys are going to get mad at me for doing that, aren't you? Let's just make sure it goes all the way down, and I'll count it up. Yeah, this is going a little bit long, but sometimes I have to, play around. You guys get to see my logic. All right, so let's start that over. So, top row. So what I typed is, I went equal and then if. So I'm going to try that again. So equal if. And when you do, So it says if error, if NA, if S. Okay, so if, and then what it's asking, come on, where's the thing? If, oh wait, I gotta go equal. Equal if, parentheses. So you put in the logical test. The logical test that I inserted is if this cell contains nothing, then it's open. If that's not true, then what is the false, and the default would be closed. So I clicked on this cell because it's just to the left of this cell. If M2 is equal to 2 parentheses with nothing there, indicates nothing's there. Comma, and if that is true, then it's open. If it's not true, it's false. Or no, it's false, yes. Then it would be closed. That's how I did it. And then as we clicked and dragged down, okay, so this up here says M2 right here. If I go down one more, it says M3, down here, M4. So each line is corresponding with what it is to the left of it. I hope that helps. I did a lot of computer programming in my youth. So count them up. So equal count if. So count if now is an interesting one because what it says is give me a range and a criteria. So count if N2 to N626 is open, then I want to count it. Got 49 of them. Equal count if N2 to N626 is closed. Okay. And now I'm just going to break down the percentages, which is equal to this number divided by the total, which is 625. And I can just drag that down. I'm going to center it. Turn them into percentages. All right. So later on, we will look at whether the number of open claims within a fiscal year greatly impacts whether we can trust the total amount or not. If too many things are open, usually if it's over, God, what did I use before? If it's over 15%, I really don't trust it. But this is also something that can be reported. That's why I did it in this here. That this percent of claims were still open. Generally they're towards the current time. This will be interesting for the next video. The average is, again, 3,900 and change. The median is 298. The $0 claims are 185, which is almost 30%. So a claim was filed, nothing was paid on it. It could be that it's still open. They've got stuff set aside. But when you start moving, back in time, and there's still zeros and there's nothing allotted, usually within a year they close it. So what these are, they could be similar to like what a near miss is. But we're going to have to look through this and see what sort of, do we have COVID related things in here. I'm just kind of scrolling through here quick. I'm not seeing them, and that kind of freaks me out. Oh, there we go. Got 3 there, 1 there, a couple more splattered around, and we'll look into that as well. Now, I know that, okay, I got to give this tab. I'm going to call this my descriptives. Back to the info. So I'm very familiar with this NAICS, North American Industrial Classification System code. 623 is what I did a lot of my research in. So I'm very familiar with what is causing the injuries, specifically the lost time injuries. So I kind of have an estimation of what we're going to be looking at. So it should be fun. If you wanted to make this table look pretty for submission, one thing you could do is highlight it. So I highlighted the data. Go up here to, and I got to find it, format as a table. It's under the styles. Click on that. And then you can pick any format that you think is kind of cool looking. Let's try this. No, because we've got, sometimes with the design of it, you want to make it all boxed. Let's see here. I'm going to box it and see what happens. I'm going to hit OK. Look at, oh, it didn't turn these. I wonder if I can do it myself. Is it going to do it? It doesn't want to do it. Okay, first I'm going to go up to, I'll teach you this later. Data, get rid of the filter to get rid of the arrows. Can I color this dark purple? Let's see. Yeah, but then it doesn't match that one. I'm just going to change that color too. It's kind of difficult to see, so I could change the font to a white. Change it to a white. There we go. Just again, I'm thinking making it look a little bit more professional. You know, I can kind of narrow it like this, but I don't like the way that paid legal, so I could just open that one up. There's some abbreviations here. I would probably try to type this out a little bit more too. Maybe I'll do that in the fourth video. We've already gone longer than I wanted to, but this is the descriptive statistics. We have a breakdown by what has been paid and the total paid. We know the percentage and breakdown of open and closed claims in here, and we set the limits for the years we're going to be focusing on. It's going to be difficult to trend 3 years, especially when this third year is probably going to have a few open claims. But just looking at it, you know, a lot of claims are already closed, so we may get lucky, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. I'll see you in the next video.